Hello viewers, welcome to Amplify Programming. In this video, I am going to explain you about how you can develop a simple JavaFX application so that you can interact with the database table. So from your JavaFX application, how you can connect with the database table, and then how you can insert your details from your application into database table. So this can be implemented using JDBC, which is a Java based API. So it stands for Java Database Connectivity. So this consists of the supporting library files and the drivers which are used to connect to the database and manipulate the database from your front end. So here I am going to explain you how you can insert users details that are given through the application into your database table. So we need to follow certain steps in order to accomplish this task. So first we need to download the corresponding jar file which consists of the supporting library files. So we need to download MySQL connector jar file and then attach it to your application. After attaching this, in your code you have to import the SQL package which consists of the different classes, methods and properties to support database connectivity and manipulating the database from your front end. So once you have imported the package, we need to establish connection to the database in your code. So we need there is a built-in class called connection. So you have to create an object for the connection class and then establish the connection with the database using get connection method. Again, it is a get connection is a built-in method that is available inside SQL package. Once you have established the connection, we have to execute the necessary queries. So for that we have to frame the required SQL query. Then followed by that we have to uh, execute the query. So before executing the query, we have to create an object for the statement class, because this statement class consists of the execute methods that can be used to execute the different SQL queries. So statement class is available inside SQL package. So after creating the object, we have to execute the query using the execute update method. So there are different execute methods. Execute is there, execute query is there, execute update is there. So since we are going to modify the database, modify in the sense we are going to insert some new records into the database table, we have to make use of execute update. The same method can be used for modifying any existing record or deleting an existing record from your database table. So finally, you can view the result of the query execution from your database table. So the second step is to create a connection object so that you can establish connection with the database table. So first you create a connection object and then assign it a null reference. So connection is a class, built-in class available inside a SQL package. You create an object for that. Then you establish the connection through this connection object. So con equal to driver manager dot get connection of URL, username and password. So these three are the arguments that need to be passed to the get connection method. Driver manager is again a built-in static class that is available inside the SQL package that contains get connection method, which is through which you are going to establish connection between your front end and the back end. So here URL refers to the URL of the database. So since your database will be available in a server, so you have to mention the path of the server. So this is the syntax you have to follow in order to refer to your SQL database. So JDBC supports any type of relational database. So since I am going to use SQL as the database, I have to mention it as MySQL. So JDBC colon MySQL colon, then IP address and port number on which your database is running. So since my own system is going to act as a database server, I have to mention it as localhost, then colon, the port number on which your database, that is SQL is running, and then followed by your database name. Next one is the username and then password. So since I have not set any password as of now, I am leaving it as empty. The default username is root. You can change the username and password by getting the settings options from SQL, which is available inside the exam framework. So the next step is to frame the SQL query. Since I am going to insert details from the application into database table, I am making use of insert query. So I think you all are familiar with the insert query, syntax of insert query. So insert into the table name. So here I have created a table named paper inside the student DB database. So it consists of 5 columns. So I have created this table in order to store the paper presentation details of the students. So it consists of roll number, title of the paper, institute where the student has presented the paper, and then date of presentation, followed by status of the presentation, whether it is participation alone or prize one. So you have to mention the columns and then followed by the keyword values, followed by the values to be inserted. So these are the values to be inserted. These are not the direct values. These are the variables which holds the values. So you have to fetch the values from the database, from the front end, that is from your Java application, and then store it into the appropriate variable. So here I have used string variables because all these are of string data type. So I have used string variables. So S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, 5 string variables representing the values given by the user through your Java application. So once we have framed the right query, you can execute the query using the statement object. So for that we have to create an object for the statement class. So st refers to the statement object, and then using that, so you can create a statement using this create statement method, which is available inside connection object, that is inside the connection class. So we have already created an object for the connection class. So make use of that to invoke the method create statement. So st equal to con dot create statement. Now st has an empty statement. So using this statement object, we can execute the query using the execute update method. So this execute update method accepts one argument, which is the query that we have framed earlier. So this execute update returns two integer values: 1 if the execution is successful, 0 if it is not successful. So after executing the query, you can look into the database table from MySQL to see the result. So first let us download the MySQL connector. So get into Google and type MySQL connector, and then followed by that you mention the operating system which you have in your system. So I have Windows operating system installed. So mention it and just press the enter key. So now from the list of search results, you just click on the first option or first link. So here you have the option to choose the OS version. Since my operating system is 64-bit operating system. So I have chosen that, and then you just scroll down, and then you can get a download button to download the archive file, that is zip file. So click on this download button. So now you'll be getting this web page where you just skip login or sign up, and then click click on just start my download link, so that the zip file gets downloaded. So now I am skipping this because I have already downloaded the uh, necessary zip file, and then I have also extracted the jar files from the zip file. So let me show you the file which I have downloaded. So you'll be getting these two jar files. So this is the uh, zip file you'll be getting once you download. So if you extract this, so this is the folder you'll be getting. So if you just double click on this, so where you can view two jar files, one with bin and another the normal MySQL connector. So these two are the required jar files which supports the application development with the backend. So once we have completed the download, you can get into the IDE, and then we have to uh, so you get into the IDE, and you have to attach these jar files to your project. So let me get into the IDE now. So here you first go to Windows, then choose Preferences. So here in the search box you just user library. So we have to create a user library. Just click on this user libraries, and then so I have already created the user libraries. Just I will show you how you have to create that. So select the new button, and then you give a name for your library. So SQL lib, I am giving it as SQL lib. Click on OK button. So now a folder or the library folder will be getting created. So now after creating it, you just select the created library folder, and then uh, select the add external jar files. So here you navigate to the folder where you have extracted the jar files, and then choose the jar files, then click on open, so that the jar files get stored in this particular library folder. So now you just click on apply and close button. So after adding the libraries, you have to attach those libraries to your project. So just I will tell you how you have to attach the libraries. So this is the project I have created, my first app. I just right click on this, then select build path. From that you choose configure build path. So here I have already done it, MySQL. So I will show you how you can add the library. So you uh, click on class path, go to add library, then select the user library because we have created a user library. So choose that, and then click on next, and then you select the library which you have created. So just tick mark it, and then click on finish button. So once you click on finish, you'll be getting back to this window, so where you can click on apply, and then apply and close button, so that your library file will be getting attached to your project. So I have already done it. So I have created a library folder in MySQL, and then added these two jar files. So it is already available. Now we can just include the package, that is import the package java.sql dot star means that we are going to use the necessary classes inside the package. We can make use of any of the classes. So we have to use the connection class, statement class, driver manager. So all these classes are used to establish connection and then use the SQL query to get executed. So let me get into the code. So we have to create the necessary objects as I mentioned in the presentation. So create connection object for the connection class and then object for the statement class. As of now, we are going to concentrate only on these two. So I have defined two methods, connect and insert. So connect method is used for establishing connection with the database from your Java application, and insert method is used for inserting the data given by the user into the database table. So first let us look into the connect method. So this connect method will be returning a connection object. So that's why the return type is connection. So here we have created already we have created the connection object and the statement object. So let us use the so this object for so connection is now null here. So connection cn equal to driver manager dot. So make use of the driver manager class, static class, which is available inside the SQL package. So it has a method called get connection, which is used for connecting to the database, which is available in my own system. So that's why I have mentioned it as local host. If it is available in some other server, then you can mention the IP address of the database server and corresponding port number. So this get connection takes three arguments. One is the URL of the database, and then second one is the username for the database, and third one is the password. So this port number it varies system to system. So let me show you through the exam control panel. So if you look into the MySQL, here there is some one an integer value against the port column. So you have the value as 3306. It means that this only through this port the application is running. That is MySQL runs on this port number. So you have to mention that port number here. So inside that we may have a number of databases. So I'm going to make use of this database. Inside this database again we have a number of tables. So inside this database I can make use of any of the table. I can't get connected to the individual tables separately. So I have to get connected to the database, and inside the database I can make use of any of the table. So now the CN has the connection reference to the database connection. So includes it within the try block. And then in the catch you catch the corresponding exception. If any connection error exception happens, if there is any problem in the connection, then you will be getting the exception. So you catch that exception. So it will be throwing SQL exception. You catch that exception and throw the corresponding message. So I have thrown the message up. Along with it, I have printed a message could not connect in the console. So once the connection is successful, it will be returning the connection object. So if you get into this, so here, so once I click on the button that is insert or register button, it will be first establishing the connection. So that's why I have invoked this method connect inside the set on action method. So con equal to connect. Con refers to the connection object. So if con is null, then the connection is not successful. Otherwise, I'll be invoking the insert method. So now let us get into the insert method. It will be getting the details given by the user. That is roll number of the student, title of the paper, and then institute name of the institute, and date on which the presentation was done. And I have the radio buttons, four radio buttons, one for participation and the rest of the three buttons for selecting for the prize one. If it is first prize, then second radio button, for second one, second prize third, then third prize fourth radio button. So I have used four radio buttons. So you will be able to select only any one of these four radio buttons. So all these data will be retrieved from the form and then stored in the corresponding string variables. So finally, it will be inserted into the database table using the insert query. So uh, here is the insert query. I have framed the query. As I said earlier, you can frame the query and store it in the string variable. Insert into the table name is paper. So I will show you the structure of the table. So to get into the table structure, you just go to the browser and then type uh, localhost. So let me start from the first. So localhost, and then so from these menus, you click on the PHP MyAdmin, so that you will be getting the dashboard to manage your database, MySQL database. So this is the database table which I have created earlier. I have three tables. So one of the tables is paper. So if you click on this, I have already two details of two students. These are the columns available: roll number, title, institute, PP date, status. These are the name of the columns. So this name I have to mention inside the query. Roll number, title, insert into paper, the table name, into which columns we have to insert the values, and then values keyword followed by values to be inserted. So those values are available in the string variables. So S1 refers to the roll number, S2 title, S3 the institute, S4 date, and S5 the status, either participation or prize. So now we can within the try block can create the statement object and then execute the query using the statement object with the help of execute update method. So st refers to the statement object. St equal to con dot create statement. So now it refers to a SQL statement. It is an empty statement. So you can make use of this st object to invoke the execute update method and pass the query string as the parameter so that this query gets executed. So now this res will be having integer value. If it is 1, then it shows that it is the execution is successful. So I am just checking the value of res variable. So if res equal to 1, then I am displaying the value as their details saved successfully, which means that the query will be executed successfully and then the details will be stored into the table. Otherwise, it will be displaying as details not saved. So finally, you just catch the exception, and then so once you complete all the operations, you can close the connection to the database. So that is done using the finally block. So inside finally, again you make use of another set of try catch blocks. So within try, you just close the connection. So if there is any problem in the connection, then it will be caught by the SQL exception class. So now let me try to run this application. So this is another form. So just let me click on the submit form. You'll be getting a menu. So from this, we choose paper presentation. So this is the UI which I have created to get the details of paper presentation and then store it. So now let me give a roll number. So the roll number is 25. Piper title. Let me give it as Deep Learning for Image Captioning. Name of the institute, Karpagam College of Engineering. Date, let it be uh, so 25/12/2022. So the status is second prize. So now let me click on this save button. But before doing this, ensure that your SQL is in the running state. So for that, you have to open the exam control panel and then click on the start button, which is against the MySQL in the control panel. Now you click on the save button. See, I am getting a label which is displaying the text details saved successfully, which means that the query has been executed successfully. I will show you the output. So here, as of now, we have only two records. So I have inserted the roll number 25, details of the student, roll number 25. Okay, so let me refresh it. So just you click on this once again. See, the detail which I have inserted currently has been updated here. So this is how we can establish connection to database and then insert new details or new records into the database table. So in the next video, I will tell you how you can update the details or do some modifications, or how you can retrieve the data details from database and then display it on your Java application. Thank you for watching the video.